Newport Beach. Beautiful beach where patience can be learnt on a surfboard. One of the best visuals of patience is a surfer. He has to wait for the right wave. He's counting, he's watching. Sometimes he jumps too early, but to get a good ride, you just have to sit and wait and wait. And that's how life is too. You have to wait for those opportunities. You never know quite when it's going to come along. Waves will look good, then they'll crash, and you have to know when to discern it. And then a wave comes along, and you start to ride. And it dies out. Frustration can keep going and going and going. And that is part of life, it's part of surfing. But also, patience is a virtue that we must all have and never get frustrated, so you go out and try again. When you find the right wave, after all that time, it comes and it goes. Welcome to Newport Beach, California. Patience, as I've said, is a virtue. Sometimes we rush and try to do things too quickly for our own good. Sometimes the Lord has us waiting for His timing. When we go too early, we may find a bad wave when we're surfing, or worse still, may fall off and wipe out. It's time to wait for the right time, the right move, and know when the right time is coming. Enjoy this week's lesson on patience.
Patience in life refers to the ability to endure difficult situations or find solutions you don't have answers for without becoming frustrated. It also fosters growth in personal relationships by developing healthy and long-lasting connections with others. When others see you work through stressful situations, they want to become part of that solution and draw closer to you. Short-tempered frustration turns people away. Ask yourself, what type of person would you want to listen to or work with? A patient person is someone who is equipped to deal with the stresses in life in a calm manner, thinking through the best possible outcome rather than rushing to a snap choice. It affords the luxury to navigate challenges more effectively. Patience provides the opportunity to deal with life's ups and downs, along with unexpected curveballs. In today's fast-paced world, we need to take a step back and prevent burnout and stress. If we use a patient mind, we can create a sense of inner calm and help in improving our emotional well-being. Overall, a patient person will be able to see every obstacle as an opportunity to grow and learn new skills. Ultimately, in all aspects of life, it makes you better. Patience behind the steering wheel. This is something most men can relate to some degree. Are you the kind of driver that wants to get from A to B quickly, maybe faster than the speed limit? Do you get frustrated when stuck behind a slow driver? Maybe a Prius or a little smart car? Do you brake hard or race others at traffic lights? Have you picked a lane only to switch when your lane stops, then get frustrated when the lane you moved into stops and the one you left starts moving? Finally, have you ever been vocal or provided choice hand gestures to other drivers who don't let you in, drive slowly, or just annoy you? Driving a car can bring out the worst in us, and often because we don't have the patience to enjoy the ride. This impatience can become costly as drivers receive tickets or even see their images posted at work because in-car images show poor driving skills. You would be surprised how often you can risk getting into an accident weaving through traffic, only to end up a car or two further than the people you just passed up. The Problem is that as the driver, we get so wrapped up in impatient driving that we fail to see the dangers to others and our passengers. A patient man knows that if you set off a few minutes early, you don't need to rush. Tailgating the car in front of you can cause anxiety to your passengers who cannot control the outcome. A patient man might consider dropping back to a safe distance. If an impatient driver then gets in between you and the car ahead, pray that their reason is more important than yours, rather than utter malicious words in your head. Ultimately, you control your mood when you are behind the wheel of a car. You know deep down if you are impatient or not. Maybe ask your partner if this applies to you, but be prepared to accept the answer. This is probably the best example of testing our own impatience. Another example is asking yourself, how long do I wait on hold for a phone call before I get frustrated and hang up? Our minds are so geared for immediate answers that we have forgotten the ability to wait and be patient. We don't know what has caused the delay, we just look to have our own needs satisfied. A third example is the stock market. People who make impulsive decisions often lose money on constant selling of stock. Those who wait longer can see that even in a lull, the upward curve will occur in time. Those who wait are more likely to see long-term gains. How do we develop patience in today's fast-paced world? Studies show that 77% of people are overwhelmed by today's fast-paced lifestyle. Patient people tend to make better informed decisions and show a higher degree of mental intelligence in both their work and private life. The instant gratification culture driven by social media creates a mental strain and increases immediate decision-making. These decisions haven't been thought out and are unlikely to be the best option available. Patience is not the ability to wait, but to keep a good attitude while waiting. Our brains need time to process information and make the best decisions. Sadly, with a fast-paced environment, the choices rely more on an emotional feel rather than effective problem-solving skills that we are created with. Impatience can cause problems fast. While we want to nurture patience as a virtue, we must also look at the opposite effect, and that is the problems caused through impatience. Impatience can lead to big issues such as strained relationships, poor work performance, and even negative aspects on your mental and physical health. Relationships, especially in the home, need calmness and a sense of importance. Impatience with your partner will cause them to pull away, become withdrawn from you, and frustrated that they aren't as important to you as other things in your life. When men rush others or express frustration over delays, it causes resentment and a breakdown of communication, which in turn further emphasizes any misunderstanding or conflict between them and others. Impatient people make poor decisions at work. They rush jobs to get them finished without utilizing an attention to detail that may take a little longer, but will provide a more complete result. This impatient attitude causes delays, complaints from customers, and frustration with leadership as someone else has to complete the original task. Trust can be lost in an employee when constant errors are made due to impatience. Loss of income to the company or the individual causes discontent. An impatient person doesn't take the time to analyze their own performance or fault, but rushes to blame the employer. The employee often becomes disgruntled when their own actions caused the issue. In many trade-based companies, such as construction, impatient workers wander from job to job, never resolving their own key issue which could unlock success in themselves. There is enough stress and anxiety in a man's life without the added pressure of impatience. Men become overwhelmed by their inability to control the pace of events. The frustration this causes can lead to anxiety disorders and mental health issues that affect a man in a wider realm. Impatient people are more likely to experience feelings of dissatisfaction, anger, and frustration. The negative turmoil will impede judgment and lead to impulsive decisions, which in turn exacerbates the impatience and almost forms a downward spiral of emotional well-being. Chronic impatience causes a negative outlook on life, making it difficult to enjoy the present moment. These people will happily live in their discontented mental well-being, focused solely on what they need to achieve, and never taking the time to appreciate their current circumstances and relationships. Physical health issues associated with impatience include high blood pressure and the risks associated with it. The constant state of agitation leads to unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as overeating or substance abuse. Research also implies that impatience also leads to premature aging of the body and organs due to the additional stress placed on them. This is also linked to the stress on telomeres, which protects DNA. These causes and negative impacts all stem from the fast-paced world we live in. Survival, it seems, is dependent on buying into what the world sells as the way we should all live. But it is wrong, totally wrong. God designed our bodies to be wonderful working machines, created to do amazing things. We need to take a step back from what the world is telling us and take a closer look at what God tells us with relation to patience. James 5:7-8 states, "Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it until it receives the early and late rains. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand." The visual metaphor of a farmer waiting for the crops to grow and, even when they look ready, to remain patient for the right time to harvest is strong. If something is worth doing right, it is worth waiting for. Rushing it and being impatient would be like picking an unripened apple or orange from a tree, so sour to taste that it is inedible. Romans 12:12, "Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer." Galatians 5:22, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness." Psalm 37:7, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices." 1 Thessalonians 5:14, "And we urge you, brothers, admonish the idle, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak, and be patient with them all." These verses all emphasize the importance of patience and waiting on God's timing, enduring trials and showing kindness to others. They serve as reminders of the virtue of patience in our spiritual journey and daily interactions. Comment on how you deal with impatience.
When it comes down to it, the way to success after patience is getting a bit of surfing.